Hey, what's going on everyone? Mick Ambrose, All About Tech here, back for another video. As you can see, the man bun is gone. So I'm sure so many people were probably sitting there thinking, Mick, what the fuck is going on with your hair? I've been meaning to get it cut for ages, but just not really had time. So yeah, it's really different, and I feel like I look quite different as well now. Like I look younger or whatever, but enough of that. Let's get straight into this video. This video today is going to be a little bit different because it's going to be like my recommendations. And today's video is about the top phones on a budget under $250 that I recommend on Android for mobile mining, and well, not just for mobile mining, but for everyday use as well. This, to me, you guys are gonna find it a bit strange because I literally just it's one brand, 5 phones from this one brand. They're dominating the market over in China at the moment, and that brand is Xiaomi. Now, I've been a fan of Xiaomi for probably about a year and a half now when I first heard of them, and they make quality products. When you think of electronics in China, you think, oh, garbage, copyright, blah 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 blah, just don't go near it. Xiaomi is like the Apple in China, and that is not even beyond an exaggeration. I have a I had a Xiaomi smartphone. I'm not going to say which one because it is on this list, and I absolutely loved it. And the only reason I don't have it today is because I was offered my let's get it out of my pocket. I was offered my Galaxy S8 for literally £200. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna take that. 200 quid. That's absolute bargain. But yeah, I've owned Xiaomi phones in the past. I own now the Xiaomi Mi Notebook Pro laptop, and if I'm being completely blunt and honest, it shits all over the Dell XPS 13 that I had before in terms of specs, in terms of performance. Not in terms of display, because the Dell XPS 13 that I had a 4K touch display, but it killed battery life, and I just don't need a 4K display. So it's got a 1080p display, nice thin bezels, and it has the build quality of like a MacBook Pro. It's out of this world, and it was really inexpensive. Really inexpensive. So let's get straight into this video. And the first, I'm going to go from the cheapest to the most expensive, up to $250, and it's going to come in pounds, because obviously I'm English. I can actually set the thing to dollars. Where's my dollars? Where's my dollars? Oh, it's right at the bottom. Right. And the first phone I'm going to recommend to you guys is, if I go to the display capture, it's the Xiaomi Redmi 5 Plus. And this is the global version. Comes with, go down to the specs. Obviously, it has the Snapdragon 625, really efficient. I think this is like last gen now. But as you can see, it's got the bigger aspect ratio like on current phones. It's got the 2160 by 1080 full HD display, and on a display on a smartphone, you don't need anything more than a 1080p panel, to be honest with you, because it's so small. You're getting a good amount of pixels per square inch there. It's absolutely fine. Running the Mi UI 9 skin on top of Android, and Mi UI 9 is great. It runs smooth. No real like lag issues or anything like that. Like I said, like obviously I don't have any of these phones to hand, but I have had Xiaomi phones in the past. I'm a massive fan of Xiaomi phones. Many people might not like it, but I do. And in terms of like the mobile miner for Electroneum, a lot of people will be iOS users. And the top pick for iOS, I'm going to have a pick for iOS users as well. And that's going to be dedicated to them. But for Android use, like, these specs and the build quality you get with the Xiaomi products is just absolutely insane. And this one for literally $166 is absolutely fantastic. This is on GearBest. But back to the specs: 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage. I'm pretty sure this one supports the SD card slot. Yep, supports SD card slot and dual SIM, where a lot of mainstream manufacturers don't even include dual SIM. So that's absolutely fantastic. You get all your 4G bands, so this will work pretty much anywhere in the world. And for $165, it's just insane. I'm pretty sure the back of this one is plastic, or I think like the back of it is metal, and then these top bits are plastic. But apart from that, the build quality is absolutely exceptional for the price. Moving into the next phone I'm going to recommend, and bearing in mind this won't just be for the mobile miner, especially considering that the mobile miner, although they do benchmark your phone and give you a hash rate accordingly, they've made it a lot fairer to the lower end performance smartphones. So the next one I'm going to recommend is, that needs to go towards the end, is the Xiaomi Mi A1. And this phone was it was absolutely brilliant. I imported like 4 of these because I knew people that they saw that I imported one to take a look at, because I was going to import them to sell more of, because I really wanted Xiaomi's products to reach the rest of the world. And it's such a shame that they only really go to like India and Singapore and a couple other places in Asia. But the Mi A1 was a phone that was designed for like the European market and stuff, and it runs on stock Android. It was part of the Android 1 program, and in the hand it felt so premium. It was an all metal design, apart from the display, obviously. All metal design, fingerprint sensor in a really comfortable position, unlike my Galaxy S8. I had the Galaxy S8 at the time when I imported these A1s, and I wanted to keep it, to be honest with you, but I just couldn't, because there were already, I brought in 4 and I'd already sold 4 before they'd even been delivered to me, because I had people from work that were really interested in them. But if I quickly change this to dollars as well. Oh, it's gonna do that to me, is it? $185.99, and for this phone, it's an absolute bargain. The Mi A2 is on the way. The Mi A1 is exactly the same as the Mi 5X, except it's got Android 1 software on it instead of the MIUI skin on top of Android. And the stock Android experience is absolutely fantastic, I must say. Because I opened the first one that came and had a little play of it and stuff. The stock Android experience on this on the Mi A1 was absolutely fantastic, and it had the specs to boot. So it had the Snapdragon 625 processor, and that it's got a good amount of power, and it's extremely efficient. Not only that, obviously it came with the Android 1 operating system, stock Android, and it's a really clean experience. It's a really snappy experience as well. 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage. It also takes SD card slots as well, so you can upgrade the internal storage. I think it's up to 128 gigs, which is absolutely brilliant. Dual 12 megapixel cameras. The Xiaomi cameras in the past haven't been amazing, but they have improved massively. For the first choice, the Redmi 5 Plus, the camera on it is good for the price, but it's not great. The cameras on this are better or just as good as the Mi 6, which was their flagship last year. which just goes to show how much effort they're putting into the camera system. Not only that, like I said, dual SIM card, nano SIM, you could do, I can't even speak now. You can do dual SIM, dual standby, nano SIM plus nano SIM, and it's got all your connectivity, Bluetooth 4.2, 4G LTE networks again, and this phone was designed to be around the world. This phone wasn't designed to be sold in China. This phone was sold in various countries around Europe. It never reached the UK, which is a bit annoying. But no, it's a fantastic phone, and you're getting all of this capability. Like, in the hand, it felt like an iPhone 7 Plus, and with the matte black finish, it kind of looks. I mean, look at it; it looks like an iPhone. Now, Xiaomi, obviously in China, the copyright laws are very, well, not as strict and stuff. Obviously, it doesn't look exactly like an iPhone, but you can see where they get that inspiration from, and I don't think it's a bad thing. iOS users, I'd recommend this one, and I'd also recommend its predecessor, which is going to be the Xiaomi Mi A2. Obviously, look at that display. It's got the bigger aspect ratio. It will have the more up-to-date Snapdragon processor, the 660. That thing is a powerhouse, and it's extremely efficient. It's ridiculous. 2160 by 1080 display. That's absolutely fine in a smartphone. 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage as standard. That's the lowest you'll get. Android 8.1 Oreo. It will also be the Google One stock Android experience, because it's the Mi A2, the A2 Android. And this phone, to be the predecessor, is going to be a really popular choice for people, because you get that bigger aspect ratio, and it's going to be, now the price hasn't been confirmed in dollars or euros, but it's going to be right around that $250 mark, I think, if not a tiny bit more. And for what you get with it, the build quality, the performance, it's just absolutely fantastic. Obviously, support won't be amazing, obviously, because a lot of the time you've got to import these from like GearBest and things like that, but apart from that, it's absolutely fantastic. Moving on to the next one, and this is an, for the money you spend, I can't recommend it enough. And no, this isn't a Xiaomi sponsored video, but I just want to get across just how much they're changing the market. And it's the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5. It's got a big screen on it, 4G network, 3 gigs of RAM. If I change it to dollars, this is going to be literally right around the $200 mark, I believe. $200 exactly. 3 colours to choose from. Dual cameras on the back. Fingerprint reader. That big aspect, the bigger aspect ratio. This also has a upgraded 636 Snapdragon processor. And all of the processors in these smartphones are quick charge enabled, but I don't think that the chargers that come in the box are quick charge. So all you have to do is just get yourself another wall charger. If you look at the specs here, 12 megapixel plus a 5 megapixel camera on the rear. It's got another 13 megapixel front camera on it, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, expandable of course, 4G networks, LTE all over the world. You can use this phone, and it's got this one has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. I've got to mention the Mi A1, I believe, has, I'm pretty sure that had quite a large battery on it. Oh, how have GearBest not even said on it? To my knowledge, the Mi A1 has a really good battery on it, and like I said, Xiaomi as a brand, they're becoming more and more popular, and who knows, one day they might just start thinking, well, actually we can charge more for our smartphones now. But the whole reason why I like Xiaomi is because they're affordable. They give great spec, great performance at an affordable price and good build quality. So yeah, that's the Redmi Note 5. Quite a big smartphone, that one. What's the it's a 5.99-inch display. So pretty much 6 inches, and yeah, it's an excellent buy. This isn't one that I've experienced firsthand, but I'm constantly looking at all the reviews on online and stuff, keeping up to date on its rating and things like that. And Xiaomi produce quality products, and this phone, and this came out last year, towards the end of last year. But the reason why I've added this to the list is because, one, it's still within, I'm pretty sure it's still within, if not it's a tiny bit over. It's $10 over the $250. But the reason I've put this one on, and this is the phone that I owned towards the end of last year. It's the Xiaomi Mi Note 2, 4G version. It's the international version. 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage. You can upgrade it with an SD card as well. It runs MIUI 8, which I'm pretty sure you can upgrade to MIUI 9. And this phone, it's technically not flagship specs now, but when it came out, it was a flagship device. It's got the Snapdragon 821, and it is a powerful phone. It will play all the games. It will play PUBG, no problems whatsoever. It's got I think it's the Adreno 530 graphics chip in there as well. Really high standard chip. It's got a curved display. So if you look at this display here, it curves. So don't drop it, otherwise it will probably be quite expensive to replace. Touch wood, I'm not someone that's ever like smashed their phones. I don't know how everyone does it, to be honest with you. I never smash my phones. But yeah, dual curves on the display. It's got an aluminium frame, and the back of it is glass as well, all Gorilla Glass. It's got one camera on the back. It's a 22.56 megapixel high resolution camera. Electronic image stabilization as well for 4K video. Now I'm gonna say one thing about this camera. It is a potato under low light conditions. So if you're filming at night or whatever, it's not gonna look great. I'm gonna be completely honest. But I don't really get phones for their cameras. I get phones for their performance, their internal performance for games and things like that. And this one will get a nice high hash rate for mobile mining. And with the front camera, the 8 megapixel as well, it's fine. It works. It's not amazing. But what's really good about this is that out of the box you have Quick Charge 3.0, which is what the other phones, the chipset, the Snapdragon 6 series chipset on all the other phones that I've introduced to you guys today, have that quick charge capability, but it just doesn't come with a charger in the box. And this one does come with a charger in the box, and the battery on it is massive. It's a 4070 milliamp hour battery. I was getting like a day and a half full charge, and I'm on my phone constantly. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's basically it. Those are the phones that I recommend any user to get on Android. I know it's just all Xiaomi, but outside of all the main brands, I only really touch Xiaomi, and they're becoming more and more popular as a brand, because they are like the Apple in China. I mean, my Mi Note Pro laptop, the build quality is it's insane. The keyboard on it feels nicer than my Dell. The trackpad shits on the Dell. Performance, it has a dedicated GPU, and it was like £400 cheaper than the Dell as well, which is mad. Like, you just don't get that performance. Price to performance, go with Xiaomi. And you may not want to. I've personally never had an issue with importing a device or whatever. GearBest are really good at getting your orders sent quickly. Also, they do DHL shipping for like £7, like $10, and it's a bargain to get DHL shipping because it comes in like 4 days depending on where you are in the world. But and they always have these flash sales as well, to get rid of excess stock. But like I said, all these phones, you can't go wrong with them. You've got from the really low price for the Redmi 5 all the way to the Mi Note 2, which is still a budget, which is still technically in that budget $250. If you want to go all out, you could get the Mi 6 or the new Mi 7 that's going to come out, or the Mi Mix 2S. That's another phone that all these phones that are coming out with these like bezel-less displays, it's because of the Mi Mix, the Xiaomi Mi Mix, that had that pretty much all it had was the chin at the bottom, and everything else was display. So Xiaomi they're making moves, and this video's gone on for far too long, so I'm going to end it here. Like, it's Friday, so I'm back to work today, but if there's any big developments, I'll try and get a video out there. Like I said, on my new laptop, I've actually got the performance that I can to run OBS and get a video out to you guys. Apart from that, guys, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.